From spending 10.5 years in the military, I realise you get two types of men in this world. You get the type A male where his situation is the way it is and he believes that nothing in this can be changed. These people are like your energy vampires. They will complain about everything as if it is not their fault, and they pretty much outsource the direction of in which their life is going. See these people as like a feather in the wind, just allowing them to be pulled from pillar to post with no regard. Now, that can stem for more than 50% of the population. I think you may agree. But then there's another style of man, and ones which I've definitely looked up to in my time in the military, and ones that I aspire to be like. And these are the type of people that believe that everything is changeable. You are in your own destiny. You are where you are in life because of your own doing, and you can absolutely change that for the better. So the question is, who are the Gorilla Platoon and why did I create it? Well, it was created off the back of my 10.5 years as a British paratrooper and then my love and passion for body composition. You see, the Gorilla Platoon is made up of people here that decided I'm not willing to accept my current state and that I can change it. And in actual fact, it was never about the physique in the first place. The physique was just a byproduct of the individual I then became. What was this really about then, and why did we create it? Because it's nice to see all these results. You can see some solid before and afters. Obviously, I'm not going to put the time frames up for it on each individual picture, but we can see some solid individual results. If you wanted to know the time frame, you just go check us out at Gorilla Platoon on Instagram. So if it wasn't about the six-pack itself, what was it about? Well, as you go through life, you start down here with what I would say is a poor mindset. And the only thing you can really take with you in this world is your character. All the money you make, all the people you know, all the things you have, even the body you walk around in, is not forever. All of those things can absolutely be taken away from you, some at the click of a fingers and some will deteriorate over time. The only thing you can truly take away with you, because unless someone's going to cut open your head, take out the memories from your brain, the only thing you can guarantee you can take with you is your character. Your character is made up of the memories and experiences you have that then shaped your mindset, how you see the world, and most importantly, how you then proceed into the world in the future to shape the destiny that you end up going on. Now, to break this diagram down, which I drew clearly, as you can see, I'm quite the artist. The purple line will denote life in general. It will denote life's struggles specifically, because ideally you'd go from here to here in one straight line as efficient and as quick as possible. But we know life does not work like that. We know on our journey, on the straight line, we'll be veered off with a challenge, with something that challenges us. We'll come back to the straight line and we'll veer off again. And then we'll come back. And you know how life works in peaks and troughs and peaks and troughs. You have up and down, you have light and dark, you have rain and sun. It's just the way the world works. It's yin and yang. So in a weird way, actually, these lines here coming off the centre line are actually beneficial to developing your character. It's the struggles and the trials and tribulations you need to go through in order to level up your character that make you the individual you are. It's much better to have stories to tell than things to show, because people can learn from them. Most of the time, they can't learn from the things that you have to show. And in many ways, it just shows up for probably an insecurity in a certain area. So if we can't control the purple line, we just simply need to accept it. What we can control is the yellowy orangey line. This line here denotes your mindset. So you will be on a path towards being the best version of yourself, your best character, and you will be swayed off. Your mind initially, when you are untrained to this, just like a muscle that is untrained, will naturally veer quite far off. And the mind, just like the muscle, will get very, very sore. Your goal is to decrease the time between veering off the centre line and getting straight back to it. Whenever you move around centred, you are content, you believe you can do anything, you understand that there is no light without dark and that these things happen to you, and it's okay, it's part of life. However, most people don't spend the time to train and develop their mind, therefore never develop the true character that they were really after. And if you look at like well-respected and liked individuals, they just have a lot of character and they've been through things that are hard, and people can either relate to some of them or admire the things that they have done. So during this process, take each trial and tribulation as a blessing in the way that it is an opportunity to develop your character. It is an opportunity to see the things going on left and right around you, a view to keep your mindset on the straight and narrow towards your true character. The further up the run of the ladders you go, even if some of these get bigger and more drastic and devastating, the easier it is to come back to the centre line because you have trained the muscle that is your character, that is your mindset. And when you can move through life with your mindset directly in line with how your character's supposed to be, you'll be able to withstand any trial and tribulation. So the vehicle we use in the Gorilla Platoon is simply the physique transformation. What this is really about is turning you into the man you need to become. It's having that strong character, that strong mindset that you can do absolutely everything. It means that your mental health goes through the roof, because we got you to 10% body fat. But it was never about the 10% body fat. It wasn't about the abs. It wasn't about the nutrition. It wasn't about bicep curls. It was simply about the man you needed to become to get there along the way. It was about developing your character. As a result of you having great character, you had the physique you wanted, you had the friends you wanted, you progressed in the career that you wanted to, because you've done the trials and tribulations. And to break this down into some more specifics, we have 10 commandments inside the Gorilla Platoon, which we then live by. The first standard: you must stand on your own 2 feet. No one is coming to save you, which means no one cares about your journey through to the character being the best version of yourself. Obviously, some people will, but 3 people in your whole entire existence on this earth will probably truly care about your end outcome. No one else could really care. And not because they're bad people, it's just because when you're so dialed in and focused on yourself, it's so hard to care and look at other people. Everyone really wants what's best for them. Let's be honest, your earache is a lot more important than war halfway around the other side of the world. It's just the way it works. That's just your pain point there and then. It's not that people are bad for this. It's just simply the way the world works. So you must stand on your own 2 feet and no one is coming to save you. I had that realization about just over 12 months ago, and I was like, oh yeah, we literally are on our own. There's no one actually will come and do anything or save us from anything. And if we do think they are, then we're going to be very let down, and we're going to live a life of disappointment. In fact, where I got this mindset from originally was from 50 Cent. If you can Google it, 50 Cent, No One Owes You Anything. He explains in there how people don't owe you anything and you don't owe them anything. And that sounds cynical, but in a way it's quite liberating in the way that everyone can move freely through this earth. Look at this as you're tipping up to a dinner party where you don't need anything from anybody. You're just here to give your vibe and your enjoyment to the group that you're in. Look at the world and life specifically as that, and you will enjoy your life as an independent individual. The next thing, number 2, is you must believe you are special and here for a reason, and that no one is better than you. And that will ooze you in confidence with a confident aura. Now, I'm not saying walking around being an arsehole to people. I'm saying that behind closed doors, you believe you are the best thing since sliced bread. Because there are zero negative points for you doing that. I'm not saying go and rub it in other people's faces. I'm not saying put other people down. I'm saying behind closed doors, you must believe that whatever you set your mind on with enough time, effort, and persistence at a thing, you could probably achieve it. If you stripped everything down and looked at someone that's done something very hard with enough time and effort and intensity, you could achieve the thing too. If you look at a doctor and think, wow, 5 years of medical development, this, that, and the other, plus the time they spent at college, plus the time they spent just getting basic education, probably about 10 years. But realistically, if you've got 10 years of your life and you absolutely dedicated every fibre of your being to doing it, could you be a doctor? I think so. I actually think you could. I don't believe that anyone is so stupid that they wouldn't be able to do it. I just think the roadblock is that big that they wouldn't want to do it. They don't think the juice is worth the squeeze. But realistically, you must believe that anything you set your mind to, you can absolutely do it, especially when it comes to getting in the best shape of your life. You have a human body, just like everybody else has a human body. So there's no reason why you can't achieve what they can achieve. So you must believe that you are here for a reason. Because realistically, you're different to me. I'm different to the next man. We're all slightly different. We're all made up with a set of interests, beliefs, and morals. That's why I created the Gorilla Platoon, because I have my interests, i.e. physique development. I have my morals, becoming the best character version of myself, and I have the people I like to help, which stemmed from being in the military, but ultimately it's people like me. You piece those together, and that's why I have what I have. So you can have exactly the same thing. You are here for a reason, and the moment you try and outsource that reason to another person, you'll only cap what you were able and what potential you had inside you. The next thing, and kind of stems into point 3, you can achieve anything you want with enough time and effort, and have the arrogant zest that you can generally do that. Number 4, and this is quite a hard pill to swallow, and it's one that I still remember now in an area of my life where things aren't going too well. I'd be like, you are where you are in life right now because of your own doing. For good or bad, any accolades you've achieved, that's on you. Any downfalls, any pitfalls, any shortcomings, that's also on you. Even if it's not, even if you can tell me I was raised in a war-torn country with minimal stuff, fair enough. That might not actually be. But my response to you is, it's still your responsibility if you want a good and a better life. It's a shame, it's unfortunate, and for 95% of people this doesn't apply, but for the 5% it does. It's still your responsibility, and as soon as you take accountability for that, you can change your outcome. The next one is do what you say. The only way you will respect yourself is if you do the things you say you're going to do. Because let's be honest, if someone said they were going to be at a certain place at a certain time and they weren't there, maybe you let them off once. Twice you think you're taking the piss. 3 times you think, I'll never trust this motherfucker ever again. And that's just one person for one timing. If you have set that for yourself and you've not done it, do that enough times, you'll not respect yourself, you'll not respect your own word, and you'll think you're just not capable of discipline. Saying I'm not disciplined is basically saying, I understand what discipline is, I understand how to be disciplined, I'm just choosing not to. That's simply what you're saying if you're not disciplined. And you won't respect yourself, therefore it's very hard to put an energy out into the world where other people can respect you if you don't respect yourself. Excuse me. Don't allow ill words to be spoke of your tribe members, and this means loyalty. So if you value some individual and you think they deserve to be part of your tribe, and not all the time you will think this. Sometimes they'll just be an acquaintance, and if you hear them being ill talked about, then fine. Sometimes pick your punches as to when you stand up for them. But if it's one of your members that you would like roll over the coals for, then you want to stand up for him. Don't allow ill words to be spoke of him. Don't sell yourself short. This is probably a big one, and this is a big one for a lot of you that wanted to get in very good shape. You'll get to 13% body fat, you'll be kind of happy. Don't sell yourself short. The reason why people get kind of happy is, and the analogy I like to use is a hot coal rock line. If I was to push you on hot coal rocks, you jump off because it's hot and painful. And that means it's the equivalent of when you fall below your standard of something, the hot coal rock line denotes your standard. When you fall below that, it's so hot and painful, you'll do whatever it takes to get back to the baseline standard. This goes for the length of your hair, this goes for the cleanliness of your bathroom, this goes for the amount of body fat you have, the amount of muscle you have, the amount of money you make within a given month. If it falls below the baseline standard, you'll do whatever it takes to get back to there. The problem is people will have a baseline standard, they'll get to 13%, which is way above where their base standard was, but they won't think they deserve 8, 9 or 10% body fat, so they'll stop around here. When the only difference between them and the individuals that are at that body fat percentage is simply their standard. The geezers at this standard literally said, no, I'm not accepting anything less than this level of body fat, and I will hold and maintain that, and my actions will then be congruent with how I see myself. It's not the problem is not dieting down or like your plateauing and losing body fat. It's simply just your own self-image stopping yourself from getting there. You generally don't believe you deserve it, and the way you then act will be congruent with your mindset. I can't stress enough how important it is to look at yourself, value that you can do absolutely anything, and that way you'll be able to get through it. So don't sell yourself short. For freedom, you can't go around risk, you can only go through it. There will always be times in life where you have to take the leap and make the jump, and unfortunately, if you want like anything decent in life, you've just got to go for it. You've just got to take the risks. I can relate to times in my life where I've done that, and lo and behold, they've actually always paid off. So thank God for that. The next one is, you are a man that's supposed to live in the trenches. This means you're supposed to be consistent. If you ever thought that I'll build the muscle and then I'll go back to living like a slob, or you thought I'll do the work now and then later I can mince, never hope for a completion of anything. It's a chapter 1 of The Way of Superior Man. Good book if you want to read that, by David Dada. Your ability to be consistent to hard things is what will get you where you need to be in life. And you want to love the consistency. You want to be proud of the fact that you are consistent at living in the trenches. This means you're either going to be bulking, you're either going to be cutting, and it's going to be tough. You're either going to be pushing work, you're either going to be trying to develop your family. And any of these things that are of a good level are not easy to have, but they are absolutely doable just with enough time and effort. Remember, if you had enough time and effort, you could achieve absolutely anything. If you wanted to have the best family in the world where you were all so tight and like you get on so well, you do anything for each other, and like your kids have grown up to be really like cool kids, with enough time and effort into that specific area of your life, you can absolutely have that thing. If you just put enough time and effort into it. The thing is though, it's challenging. It's like you feel like you're doing workouts every day to get there. If you don't wake up naturally and you wake up to an alarm, by the 5th day of the week, you're like, oh God, this is like a bit of a slog now. But if you were to take that away from you, you would get that mince feeling where you feel like you're just like chilling and you're not really like pushing it that hard. You're supposed to live in the trenches. You're supposed to have that feeling when you get up. Otherwise, you may feel lethargic and your performance that day may actually be less. So you're supposed to live in the trenches. Get in there and get fucking working. And then the last one is, the day you die inside is the day you pass on discipline. The day you be like, nah, actually today I'm going to skip X. That's the day a little bit your soul just got broken off. It sounds deep, but if you look at any time in your life where you've just let something slip, that was simply you just not respecting yourself and allowing that version of you just to degrade a little bit. I say die because that's like the most extreme version of this, but that's essentially what we're saying. So that's what the Gorilla Platoon is built on. That's the commandments. And this is what we're here to do. Develop your character and mindset through physique transformation. This last year it was all about results. This year it's all about community. So we're now live on school, and chats go out on there. Lectures like this go out on there, and then we have got some meetups coming up throughout this year. One's going to be in the US towards May time. The other one in the UK around June time. We're going to be doing team photo shoots, getting people peeled to the bone, similar condition to this. So it's going to be exciting, fun year ahead. If you want to be a part of it, there'll be a link in the description. You can book a call and we can take it from there. So thank you for watching. Hope you find it insightful and the mindset, if nothing else. And I'll see you tomorrow.